Subtractive modeling is the process used by designers to create parts for manufacturing. Manufacturing processes like milling involve taking solid blocks of material and then cutting away everything that is not what is desired in the final product. In this video, we will learn to use the solid subtractive modeling process to create the T-bracket, which is the shape that you see on the screen. Dimensions on a drawing are listed as length, width, and height or depth, depending on the orientation. Here you can see we have what is called a UCS, or Universal Coordinate System, that tells us that this is the X direction, this is the Y direction, and this is the Z direction. If we look at this T shape, there's several different ways that we could create it. If we were going to build this, we could start out by making this just one piece, drawing a T. But that's not really how things are made. If we were building this out of multiple pieces, we could create this as two rectangles. You can see one rectangle here, and you can see the second rectangle here. And then use some kind of fasteners to hold it together. But that's not how we're going to approach this. We're going to take this as a solid block that is rectangular, and we're going to cut away these two rectangular sections. So to get started, we're going to go ahead and open Inventor. There will either be an icon on the desktop that looks as you see here with the I and the Pro. You may also have to look under your programs to find Inventor Professional 2017 and then go ahead and open that up. Now, once you've opened the software, this is your home screen. This is basically where everything is going to start. And you can see here there's a section for new. Once you've created multiple drawings, there will be, this is your recent documents where we populate that. But to get in the habit of what we're doing, we're going to come up to new, and we're just going to left click. And when you do that, it opens this create new file window. And as you see here, there's a place for templates, and there's different ones. I have English, I have metric, I have mold design, and then I have one called MWA. Well, obviously MWA is Midwest Academy. So again, I'm going to left click on that. And I now have 7 different drawing types. We have parts, assemblies, drawings, and then presentations will come later on. Drawings are two-dimensional representations of 3D parts, kind of like what we did in Floor Planner. And parts are to create 3D objects. So the biggest thing you have to do before you start is you have to choose your units, either in inches or millimeters. And the part that we're creating, it says units, US customary, IN. IN stands for inches, so we know we want the inch template. So double click. It's going to open up. This is my drawing window, and as you can see, this is a little bit intimidating, but I'm going to try to calm it a little bit, and we're really only going to work with the basics. Over here in the upper left hand corner, or upper right hand corner, I'm sorry, this is called the view cube. This allows us to look at the drawing in different orientations as an isometric, or a three-dimensional representation of an object in two-dimensional space. We have a home button, which allows us to go back to home. Over here we have the zoom bar, though really the one we're curious of is this third one from the top, which is either zoom, zoom all, zoom window, or zoom selected. I'll show you how those work in a minute. You have the pan feature, which allows you to move it around, or I'm sorry, that's orbit, and then this is pan. I don't use those very often. But what we're going to do to get started is we're going to draw everything from a sketch, which is kind of unusual, but it's just terminology and we'll learn this, and I know this is going to be confusing at first. But let's start off by creating a 2D sketch, and when I click that for the very first time, that's going to pop up. That is your coordinate system. Now, if you hover over it, it actually turns red and will tell you what plane that you're drawing upon. So for instance, XZ is width, depth in the third dimension, same thing here, second. XY is looking at it from the front, back, left, or right. If you're confused about that, look over here at the view cube. Top, bottom is XZ, left, right is YZ, front, back is XY. We're going to draw from the XY plane. So I'm just going to click on that. And now you can see it's changed again. It's a little different. This is your origin. So this little dot right here is 0, 0, 0 in space. So let's see what we have here. So according to what I see here, on the XY plane, I have a rectangle that is 2.5 inches in length, 2 inches in depth, an inch and 1.75 inches in height. So what I need to do is draw a rectangle that is 2.5 inches or 2.5 inches long, 2 inches in height. So here goes. Yep, that one. Okay. So on the menu, once I've clicked that, I have line, circle, arc, and then I have rectangle. And if I click on rectangle, there's different types of rectangles. I'm interested in the default, which is 2-point. I hover over as I'm moving with my mouse. When I get to the origin, it turns green. So by left clicking, I can drag out and create a shape. But I have to make this the size that it's specified. It has to be 2.5 inches long. And the easiest way to do that, and I'm going to show you both ways, by hitting the tab key, you can see my blue icon changes from whichever window it's in. So I'm in the length, I type in 2.5, and then I hit the enter key, and you can see my rectangle is now 2.5 inches in length, but I didn't get the height or the length, the width. I'm sorry, I keep saying the wrong thing. So the other way of doing this is to put a dimensional constraint or constraint, which basically I'm telling it this is what it has to be. So by clicking that, again, left click, select the line, turns red, and you can see here now it's now telling me how big do I want that to be, which is 2. And I now have created the basic building block of the T, but I got no depth. Well, we can solve that really quickly. we're going to click the extrude key, and it takes it a second. But if you'll see, give it a second, now it's popping out of the screen. You can see I'm now making a three-dimensional object on the computer. Now, I'm going to click this one because I want it to go away from me. And here it's asking me for depth, or how tall it is. It's 1.75. And if you don't click in the right space, you get that annoying noise. 1.75. There we go. We now have a rectangular prism that measures 2.5 inches in length this way, 2 inches in depth this way, and 1 3/4 inches in the z-axis. So what I want to do now is start cutting away the stuff I don't want, which, believe it or not, this isn't too bad. So I'm going to come back to Sketch, and you'll see now when I click it, it's asking me where I want to do it. Well, I drew from the front. I drew from X, Y. So I'm going to click on the front, and then I'm going to zoom in, and I know that I need to take away a rectangle. And again, the green dot is telling me that's the corner. I drag it out. Now, a little bit of math. Let's look at the drawing. So it's 0.75 inches wide, and I should be left with 0.75 inches this way. But they don't tell me how long it is from here to here without doing math. Well, okay. So this distance that's left over is this minus that. Well, I'm not going to do the math. You can do it if you want. I'm just going to type it in. 2.5 minus 0.75. This is supposed to be 0.75. Create that. Going to click that, and you'll notice it's popping out. I don't want that. This is add. This is cut. And you can see here, cuts it away. Now all I have to do is repeat that exact same way I did before. New sketch. Up to 5 minus 0.75. 0.75. And click. Click. Click on extrude. Switch that to cut. Okay. And lo and behold, there's my T. Okay. So all that we need to do now is to save this. So I'm going to click on the save icon. I'm going to go find where I want to save this, which is for me in this folder. I'm going to go into computer design, activity 2. I'm going to name it my last name, and then the part 63B bracket T. And it's now saved. So hopefully that helps you get started. I know it's a quick overview, but between this and the instructions, that should give you everything you need to complete this part in 3 extrusions. Please see me with questions. Thanks for watching.